Hello everyone. Welcome to Catholic Game Reviews and our 2025 awards video. Uh, I'm joined today by Alden, our uh, magnificent ruler, Katoons. I'm joined by Gaius, and I'm joined by K-Max. Everyone say hello.
Moshi Moshi does.
Hello, back again.
Greetings from beyond the grave.
So we know we're a bit late on this, but as it turns out, scheduling for people and trying to find free time when we live our own lives, it's tough. So um, we appreciate your guys' patience. So we're just gonna real quick, we're gonna do a quick prayer and then we'll dive right into it. So if you guys would join me in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. Lord, we thank you for gathering us together today to discuss the games of last year in light of our faith. Please bless this discussion and make it fruitful. May it bear charity, camaraderie, and conversion for us and to all those who watch. May all we do glorify your name. We ask this all through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, guys. So let's dive right into it. So we've got I don't know, 8 to 10 categories. A lot of them are returns from last year. We nixed a few. Some of them are going to be honorable mentions, which we'll be getting to. Oh, do I have them on here? We're going to be including them probably in the article because I don't have them on my final master sheet list. But we're just going to dive right into it. Our first category is most anticipated winners. All right, guys, would you introduce us for most anticipated, please?
Absolutely. This was a category that ended up being quite large because, lo and behold, we've got a lot of people on the team and all of us like very different types of games. So, our nominees were 007 First Light, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Grand Theft Auto 6, Bloodstained, the
Ooh,
I forgot the subtitle. What was the
yeah.
subtitle, K Max?
Ooh,
Scarlet
Electric
Engagement.
Boogaloo.
Yeah, I believe it was Scarlet
Probably.
Engagement.
That sounds
Yeah.
correct, yeah.
Resident Evil Requiem was next on the list, followed by Slay the Spire 2, and the list ends with Wholesome Monster Girl Academia.
All right. So we've got quite a lot of good games on there. Um, a lot of the, I'll be honest. I mean, we're not going to talk about all of these. We don't have time to talk
Yeah,
about all these nominees. Um, I mean, Wholesome Monster Girl Academia is looking really good. Um,
it's been on the list for a couple of years now, too.
it has been, but I would. Do you know release date for that, K Max? Is it coming
There,
soon?
there, there's a slight possibility of end of 2026 or 2027. So there is this
Okay,
year it is actually a possibility, not a guarantee. But we are looking
that's
forward to
fair.
it. So yeah,
Yeah. I
Yeah,
believe
and that's just
previous
always.
year, I believe in previous years we intentionally left it out of the Catholic Game
yeah,
Reviews Awards because we knew
Hmm.
that it wasn't necessarily going to come out the
yeah.
next
Hmm.
year.
But there is a
But we're close.
possibility. So yeah,
We're close. What game stuck out to you guys from this crop?
Bloodstained, Slay the Spire 2. Apparently Resident Evil Requiem was I know it's anticipated, but I didn't realize how much it was anticipated until it came out recently, and it seems like it's been doing really well. So
Yeah.
I guess that was one I should have had my eye on. I guess what I'm trying to say.
No, I got
Well,
you.
Yeah.
I have played through Resident Evil Requiem. I finished it. My review draft is all good to go, so we'll probably post it this week as of time of recording. By the time this video comes out, I imagine you'll be able to read that article. So, a shameless plug.
There you go.
But long story short, for that article, I enjoyed the game quite a lot. So
Nice.
that definitely deserved to be on the list.
All right. Alden, anything
Oh,
you want to put in before I go for the winner?
Yeah, I guess just there's an obvious note about GTA 6 right now. I've never played a Grand Theft Auto game. I don't think I ever really planned to, but just the memes around GTA
it is
6 and all
funny.
the things that have that have happened before it's come out.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll be very much interested to see if it catches on as much as 5 did. And then also I think just a bit of context for people who probably don't know about Wholesome Monster Girl Academia. That's actually a game being made by Yamic, and despite the dis, despite what you might think from the title in the genre, it is actually meant to be wholesome. That's it's designed with that in mind, and we did a pretty long interview with Yamic, I believe, about a year ago, and you can
Yeah,
watch all that on our channel. It'll be in the descriptione below. But
and
Mm,
yeah,
we are planning another one when the game actually comes out for those interested. So
yep.
great. Um, Actually, guys, why don't I have you do the honors and introduce this winner? Who's the winner for most anticipated?
This actually
Mega Man
came
Star
as
Force Legacy Collection. It's out of nowhere.
With the
thank
steel
you.
chair.
Thank you, K Max. But actually, from our final vote, the winner in this category is Resident Evil Requiem, which came as a
Yeah.
surprise to me because
Yeah,
I'm the big advocate for horror games on the site, apparently, but a lot of other people are down for some Resident Evil as well.
Hmm. There was a
So,
lot. I mean, I haven't played one since like 4, but I was
mhm.
really interested in Village, and it seems like the games have just been like they've seemed. I've gotten a lot more interested in them over the years, so I
They,
believe it.
they seem to have gotten back their stride because I know 4 was really a lot of people consider 4 the best. I'd probably still say that 5 is a little decisive, and then 6 is a good game but a bad Resident Evil game, and then 7 and
Hmm.
8 7 and 8 were more horror, and then 9 seems to be a little bit more horror, and 4 again from what I've seen of it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and our next category, which is another this is one of our warm-up categories, right? We're going to get into the beefier ones soon. But this next one is best backlog, which is always super interesting because it can just be any of the games any of the writers at CGR have played and reviewed, usually reviewed this past year. So we've got like I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics is one on here, and that's like late 90s. It might have come out
Hmm.
2000, like so this really runs the gamut. This is really like it could be anyone. Um Alden, could you please read the best backlog nominees for me, please?
Sure thing. So first up, we have con con. Sorry, We'll do a cut there. First up, we have Control. Then we've got Lies of P. Next is Final Fantasy Tactics, and after that we have Outer Wilds, and then we've got, to round it off, Guild Wars and Resident Evil 4.
All right. There's lots of really good ones in there. I
Yeah.
played Control. One of the nominees that I put in was Final Fantasy Tactics, which I was able to play. And it's funny because I did Disgaea first, so I was like, that's what I knew it from. And to play Fantasy Tactics and be like, this is where it got it all from, was really cool.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it was a good time. And Outer Wilds is also a fantastic game. But yeah.
I have played all of these except for Tactics and Outer Wilds. I played Tactics Advance, but not the original. One of these days I will. It is nice to see, at least for Tactics, Resident Evil 4, and Guild Wars, I'd say, that either they got re-releases recently, or for Guild Wars'
Hmm.
case, it's getting updates again after 15 years of basically no updates, which is like, yeah, let's go. It's not
Yeah, let's go.
dead. It's not dead.
You love to see it come back from the dead, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and speaking of coming back from the dead, as Mr. went down the horror rabbit hole and never looked back, you would not be surprised to hear that I was responsible for getting Resident Evil 4 on the list. And I mean, it's considered one of the greatest games ever made, so I don't think anyone's going to be surprised that it's on the list. I don't
Yeah.
think
Was it
anyone
your
would
first
argue
time
against
playing
it
it?
being there. Yes, it was my first time playing it this year, and it's my favorite game now. It
That's
supplanted
great.
Garo.
It's very good. Now, I was gonna say,
very good.
I don't know if we ever clarified for people voting if it was the original or the remake. There is a slight difference between the two.
It
That's
is
fair.
definitely the original. I
Yeah.
will
Mhm.
not sully the original's honor by playing the remake.
I mean,
Mhm.
the remake, from what I heard, isn't bad, but you don't have the original Leon, and that is a big downgrade.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what other game can you organize your suitcase while zombies are attacking you? It's
Yeah.
just no other game provides that simulation for you.
Parasite
Minecraft.
Eve. Oh, we
Oh,
got
that's
two.
true.
We got
We've got two.
By a technicality.
So what we're all saying is the most popular games of all time let you organize a suitcase while monsters attack you.
yeah.
We have found
We've
the
got the
common
secret
thread.
sauce here.
Yeah,
Get on it,
What is it?
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Perfect the
Yeah.
formula.
that's right.
All right, Alden. Who won?
Well, starting to establish a bit of a trend here. The winner of best backlog is Resident Evil 4.
Let's go.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Everything's coming up good. And so we did like a point system when we were doing. So anyway, when we were doing the awards this year, we kind of came up with like a way to assign points as we were doing votes to like kind of weight things. So Resident Evil did twice as good points wise, about like a little bit less than twice as good as second place. So I mean, it just crushed it, just dominated the competition.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
no shame to any of the other nominees. I
That's
know
true.
They
Liza
are all
P.
very good games. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Liza P is there because of my brother, and
Mhm.
from what he's told me about it, like, yeah, that definitely deserves to be there. And as you guys were saying, Control, Final Fantasy Tactics, it's all good stuff.
Yeah, they're all very strong showings for sure.
Yeah, I was also really interested with Control was I actually just referenced our own art article while we were recording here, but it was directed by Paul Arith,
Mhm.
who was one of the Catholic game developers that we wrote and did a video about. And I remember he had some interesting stuff to say about directing that game. I think it was in that game he kind of made some suggestions for how a character would be portrayed because he was worried about how it might affect the people who play
Mhm.
the game. So I've had it
Yeah.
in my Epic Games library. It was free a couple of years back, and still haven't played it. But you know what? This is a backlog category, so I think that's just fine.
It can
Maybe
stay
it'll
there
show
for
up
a
next
while.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
might have to get there.
I understand. I've started it, and then I haven't gone back to it, and maybe one of these days I will.
Yeah, someday. All right, next category is best music. That's a favorite of mine, but K-Max, could you have the honors, please? Could
I'd
you
love
read the
to.
nominees for us?
Yes, first off, we have Battlefield 6, Claire Obscure 33 Expedition. No, wait, that's wrong. We have Donkey Kong Bonanza, Fatal Fury, Hades 2, Mario Kart World, Metroid Prime 4, and Horse Glue Girl game.
Uma Musume.
Horse
Uma
Glue Girl
Musume.
game.
Probably. I've never actually said it out loud now that I think about it.
I think it's
It's
Umasume.
pronounced here. I'll give you the right pronunciation. Uma Musume.
Fair.
Dabi.
Oh my gosh, it sounds perfect.
Yosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Oh
a big
man.
category this year. Like
Yeah.
8 submissions.
There's a lot of
It
good
was.
music, honestly, and it's
There
like,
was a lot
honest,
of.
yeah.
Go ahead, K-Max.
It is a lot of hard choices, honestly, because there's a lot of good games here. I'm a little surprised by really two of them, admittedly. Battlefield 6 being in here surprises me.
Mm.
I don't remember any music for Battlefield 6 while I'm playing it. I'm not gonna lie. I played it a little
That's
bit.
fair.
Star Warp in the room.
Yeah. Then Horse Glue game. I don't remember that much, except for the ba 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 ba
Yeah,
ba.
I'm pretty
You know
Wait,
the
sure
song.
that one was
it's not ringing a bell. Could you keep going?
uh, well, for Uma Musume, two interesting things. One, the majority of the soundtrack, like the orchestrals that play in the background during
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
menus and the races, I believe all of those were done by the same guy who did Octopath,
Oh, really?
Yasunori Nishiki. Uh,
That
Oh,
is pretty
but
cool.
then there are also a lot of other composers on like the pop idol things,
Right.
like the really famous one, like the Uma Pyoy. Uh, I believe that one was composed by the Metal Gear guy.
Oh,
oh,
really?
okay.
They've got a lot of talented musicians on that
You
game.
know,
Yeah.
fair enough. I also couldn't remember if it came out this year or last year was half of it too. Or pardon me, 24 or 26, 5. That's what I'm trying to say.
Technically, it's been out for 5 years in Japan.
Oh,
Fair.
wow. Yeah. And then
Did not know that. Wow.
obviously one of the nominees that's gonna be coming up a lot because it's come up everywhere a lot. Claire Obscure. I loved the music in this, but it's also got some weird music in it. I have a
You,
taste for the weird, like I grew up listening to weird music, so like I'm not that put off by it.
mhm.
Um, but like, yeah, I mean, there's beautiful arias, and then there's just like, this is like, this sounds like jazz for chickens. It's like it's so hard to describe sometimes the genre that's going on. I loved it all.
Even
I mean,
as
there's literally. Go ahead.
even as Claire Obscure's biggest hater, I do have to admit the music for it is fantastic. And it's like if there's going to be any credit I give it, it will be for that.
I
Wee
appreciate that.
wee.
The hate will flow later.
The hate will flow later,
Um,
but it's like I will give game props where it's due. It's just for this, like, nah, I'll give props.
no, you're good. You're good. Okay. Last thing about Clear Obscure. I mean, there's literally one battle that's like it's just one song. Normally, when you're doing an RPG boss battle, it's like, oh yeah, you'll loop a 2-minute thing max, right? And this one's like,
Yeah.
well, we've made an 11-minute song, and it just rocks so
Yeah.
hard the whole time. All right, and King
Crazy.
Max, you are good to do the. You're good to announce the winner.
For best music winners coming in with a bongo, it's not Claire Obscure, but it's Donkey Kong Bonanza from nowhere.
This one
Yay!
really did surprise me.
Yeah,
It did. Not that the music is bad. The music is incredible in
yeah.
Bonanza.
It's
Um,
yeah,
I I remember listening to the second layer, the one that's like the tropical oasis type. I remember
yeah.
just standing there and listening to that music for like 15 minutes and just basking in it. It's fantastic.
It is really good. Like honestly, out of the games I have played on here that did have memorable music, like Donkey Kong Bonanza was there, Expedition 33, Metroid Prime 4, Mario Kart World, even Hades 2, although I haven't played that one as much. It was hard. It was a very hard year, is what I'm trying to say for music.
Hmm.
And I'm surprised Donkey Kong Bonanza won, but at the same time, it's like I can see it here and there with Pauline and some of the
Hmm.
music, and then especially during like the it's a short little bit ditty, but like when you have the 30-second trials where it's it's like there is a lot of bits and pieces where it really just all falls in together. It's like what, all right, fair enough. I
I
I
am
could see it
hype.
here. Yeah, it's like I
Yeah,
I can see it.
I think
yeah.
also just the fact this was um, Nintendo's first like voice acted game and since I can remember. I mean, maybe like there's probably more voice acting in like
Zelda.
Fire Emblem and stuff. Yeah, well,
Oh yeah.
yeah. There's
True.
a bit in Zelda. But this was like I don't know, just very heavy on the voice
Yeah,
acting, and they usually don't have it in their more cartoony sorts of games, which those
that's true.
are the
Yeah,
games that I play the most. Is all of those. But I think they really took advantage of that with just how many of the songs have everything that Paul Pauline sings for all the different transformations, those all have vocals. I know, there's I think in some sub areas and stuff, there's more vocals.
yeah,
Uh, the ending theme, credits theme, that was incredible. I
yeah.
remember listening to that and telling myself, "Oh, I'm gonna be listening to this a lot in the future." So I'm sure once it gets the full release on Nintendo Music, I'll be looking at that more too. But then also, shout out to Mario Kart World.
Yeah,
There's few companies out there that have the legacy that Nintendo does when it comes to games, and they were able to pull from literally 40 years of Mario music and
Mm,
incorporate it all into that game. And it was
yeah,
just a treat, like whether you grew up with the NES or even like the Wii or Wii U, there's
yeah.
just awesome stuff in there for you to love.
And honestly, if I'd remembered the ska remix of Yoshi's Island they had in Mario Kart World, I might have pushed it up higher just because, like, how often do you get ska in a video game these days? Like, you know what? All right,
it's
I'm sold.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah. I will.
Um,
Sorry, I do want to. I know I mentioned earlier, but Metroid Prime 4's soundtrack is really good. I know that the game has been getting a lot of hate, but if there's praise for anything, the songs that they do have on Nintendo Music, the app, are really good. So I do recommend that. That's all I wanted to say about
mhm.
that.
All right, guys, just quick cut. Matt has to go take care of his baby, which is just fine. Y'all can't complain about that. So we will keep moving on here. Next category is best art.
Yeah.
Uh, Gaius, would you like to take this one back over?
It would be my pleasure. So, our nominees this year for Best Art are Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, Ghost of Yote, Keeper, Metroid Prime 4, Silk Song, or Hollow Knight Silk Song, rather, and Toho Fearless Frog Slayer. Yeah, so a lot of interesting
Mhm.
nominees this year, a lot of variety as well.
Yeah.
There's some of these games have elements of photorealism, some are more anime, some are more just like artsy, stylized. There's even a pixel game in there as well. So we
And
could go in a lot of directions here.
if I remember correctly, Silk
Yeah.
Song is hand drawn too, isn't it? Or does it just look like it is? Trying to
I
Are
remember.
you
would have
saying
Either
to
way,
like
double check.
how Cuphead was?
Cuphead and Dust and
I know
Elysian Tale.
Cuphead.
Because
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know.
I can't
I
remember.
mean,
Yeah,
it did take the game about 10 million years to come
it
out,
did take a while. Yeah,
so I
but
wouldn't be shocked.
it is a very pretty game, and it looks. It looks very nice. Is what I guess I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
especially for
Um,
a side scroller.
yeah. And hey, I mean, Metroid Prime 4 being on here, I haven't taken the time to play it yet, but from playing remastered on the Switch and knowing how amazing that looked,
Mhm.
I mean, I am very excited for hopefully one day playing the Switch 2 version of Prime 4. I'm sure that looks awesome, but maybe
Prime
Game
4 is
Max
a
has
very.
something to say.
Yeah. I say Prime 4 is a very pretty game, and unlike with the Metroid Prime 1 remastered, they can't mess anything up because it's the first time they're releasing it. Uh, I like Prime 1 remastered, but they messed up the doors a little bit and some lighting here and there. So, but yeah, Prime 4 is a very pretty game. I like it a lot. There's some areas that are more. Honestly, I'd probably have to say there's two areas in particular that look really good. The very first area you get to, which is a forest, I can't remember what it's called at the moment. That one looks in particular pretty, and then Vault Forge, which is just a giant machine factory in a thunderstorm where it gets all of its power from from thunderstorms. So I'd probably have to say those two are the best looking, just from art wise or from like an aesthetic. Because those you don't like forest you do see frequently, but the way they did the forest was very pretty. And a factory you see somewhat often, but not that often. It was nice to just kind of have that. So it's like that was very appreciated. So when the game does look good, it looks really good.
Yeah.
And while we're here, as the resident fighting game guy on the panel, I would be remiss if I didn't spare at least a few words for Fatal Fury. I'll say this much. It was in Best Music too. It's a game that sounds great. It's a game that looks great. I really like how for the cinematic stuff, it has this sort of like dotted printer effect to make it look like a comic book. Like I really appreciate that. I love reading comics.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've yeah, Fatal Fury was definitely the best fighting game to come out this year. Although unfortunately, I cannot for the life of me enjoy it as much as I want to, just because I know in the back of my head, Saudi Arabia bought this. When I bought this game, I sent this money to bad people, and I feel bad.
Yeah, that's
I
kind of
was
what's
one of the ones that was scooped up, right, by the big buyouts that we had over last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a rough situation.
yeah, and I get it because I did actually really enjoy Battlefield 6, but I know EA is owned by them now too, and I don't like giving EA money in the first place often. But it's like, man, now I really don't want to give you guys money.
On a lighter note, Gaius, what can we put up there as the winner for best art 2025?
Absolutely. The winner of Best Art is Hollow Knight Silk Song.
And
And
it is a
honestly, deserved.
dessert,
It's a
yeah.
good looking game, for sure.
Silk,
Yeah.
But
yeah, yeah.
I could have seen
Silk,
a lot of
yeah.
these winning.
Yeah, honestly, most of them I could have. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I know lots of you are probably really waiting for our Silk Song review because I know we did our Hollow Knight review probably like 8 years late. We just did it last year, and you guys really seem to like that. As far as I know, plan is still for us to shoot out a review of that. Don't know exactly when or technically if it's coming, but I think we'll have one out there for you guys eventually. Just because I mean, that's one of those games that everyone just has to take a shot at, right?
Might be waiting for the free DLC they keep releasing too, so it's a complete review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, good point.
Someone on the team will do it eventually, I think.
If I have to, I can.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
boy, it's like I'm not going to be kind on its gameplay.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I think the people enjoy the honesty that comes with Catholic game reviews because we're
Hopefully,
not bound to corporate donors.
that's true. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so I have been
I've
revisiting the
given a
original
couple
Hollow
games
Knight.
higher
Yeah.
than. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just I've been revisiting the original Hollow Knight, and I like the controls better there than I do Silk Song. But yeah, I'll tell you what,
Interesting.
guys. We won't get when Pokemon Winds and Waves come out. We won't give it a 7.5 out of 10 because of too much water. So
That's right. Oh man. Maybe they'll reference it again like they did in Omega Ruby Alpha, or no, I think it was Sun and Moon. They referenced that
so
infamous
Nintendo
IGN review.
yeah, Nintendo called them out already because the IGN posted about Winds and Waves like, oh, it looks pretty good, and then Nintendo or Pokemon Company just responded back with 7.5 out of 10, too much water. It's like, all right, fair. It's
He
still
loves to see
remembered. It's still remembered.
it. Do not forget.
Do not forget, the ancient memes live on.
All right, guys. So moving on to best multiplayer. Again, in no particular order, we have Battlefield 6, Kirby Air Riders, Mario Kart World, Peak, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
It
Oh
is
boy.
most certainly a year for kart racers, eh?
Yeah,
I know.
for multiplayer in general, this is a really good list, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand. It's like it took Nintendo 11 years to come out with a new Mario Kart, and the year that they do it not only has probably the biggest Sonic racing game that I've ever seen, although
Yeah,
I haven't played a lot of Sonic racing, but also Kirby Air Riders coming back from like 2004 or
yeah, 20-year
whatever. Just
hiatus.
yeah, I know it was weird, but fun fun year. I know Kirby Air Riders has been a favorite of mine, even going up till now, ever since it launched Nov in November. It definitely has some issues, but overall, I mean, it's made by Sakurai, right? So, like,
It has no
it
issues.
kinda has to be good.
It has no issues. Rick should always be peak. Rick superiority.
Oh, no, yes. The most overpowered character in the game came out
Rick
and died was a hamster.
superiority.
No, but overall, I think really scratched that itch of, like, it's a bit more of a hardcore racing game
Yeah,
when I feel like you don't really see a lot of those out. Um, I think there's Forza or whatever, but
there's
I don't that doesn't
Forza.
really seem hardcore, that seems like casual.
Forza, I think is pretty hardcore, but I could be
Oh,
wrong
is it?
about that.
Okay.
I think so. I don't. I like more of the kart racers, anyways. So that's why I'm not aware of the other ones as much. So
Kart
Yeah.
racing fans talking about Forza is the video game equivalent of saying, I know nothing of the sports ball.
yeah, and
Yes.
all I know is F1 is bad. That's it.
Ooh, don't tell Mel.
Oh, I'm doing it on purpose.
No, I just get the impression that, like, Forza's, like, and I bet I'm really gonna annoy some people by saying this, but I get the impression that it's like, person who doesn't really know much about games picks up like I mean, I actually don't even I think it is on mobile, right? Is Forza on mobile?
I
Because
don't
that's
know.
like the kind of stuff. I mean, like every time I walked into an Apple store, I would just see that like some racing game that looked like Forza or whatever, and I'm like, this is boring. Where's my Mario?
There is some similar ones. I think there's another one called Project Cars, which I think is well received, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
There's some other ones which I can't remember. I'm just checking Forza now. The latest one was Motorsport in 2023. Windows Series X/S. So it doesn't look like it was yeah, it doesn't look like that was mobile. So not entirely sure.
Hmm.
Let's
Just some
see.
last thoughts. I know Mario Kart World. I think I wrote about this in my review, but any Mario Kart game is just I've really found it to be a big um pillar almost that like I've just had so many instances where I meet up with old friends or meet someone for the first time, have a new friend over, or even just having fun with like someone's kid and maybe their parent too. Just Mario Kart is just a perfect thing for that, and I've probably played that game with more or I should say I've played that series with more people than anything else, at least in person by far.
It is a really
I
good
mean,
casual racer.
yeah, and just like ever since I was a little kid, I'd go to friends' houses. Everyone
Yep.
has a copy of Mario Kart, so we could always do that. And then
Yep.
even as I grow older, you like all my friends now, right? They grew up on that, or anytime I have a new person over, that's just a way to help break the ice, right? So that's
Yeah.
always going to be a big thing to make a big splash in the multiplayer genre because it's basically what millions of people are going to be playing until the
Yeah.
next Mario Kart comes out. Um, but Gaius, I know you reviewed the new Sonic Racing, right?
I absolutely did, and I quite enjoyed my time with it. As time has gone on, the game hasn't quite held my attention the way I was hoping it would. I think a big part about that is the fact that they're focusing so much on like crossover DLC, which, yeah, I get the appeal, but uh, I think I would be more interested if they were like adding more tracks to the game rather than just playable racers from other franchises.
I'm gonna
Because I think
disagree.
things like tracks and vehicles would increase the
Well,
replayability much more.
I'm going to disagree.
Uh,
I want Vice in the game, and they can just take his map from Sonic Racing Transformed and slap it in the game, and I'd be content, and I'd actually buy the game.
yeah. Although it does have Mega Man, or it will soon.
Yeah, and then it's like
Oh,
I'm kind
really?
of
I
there.
didn't know.
Yeah, they will have Mega Man. It does look good. If they get Vice, they will have me. But as of the moment, it's like I'll wait for a sale.
Yeah.
It is one of those few things that, kind of broke through my barrier of knowledge to non-Nintendo games where I knew the crazy announcements like with Steve, and I think they got SpongeBob and TMNT in there.
That was
Um,
one thing I did want to say. They should have really renamed it Paramount Racers, starring Sonic and Friends. But
Damn
yeah,
straight.
Avatar, right? Yeah, they got Avatar.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot about Avatar. Yeah, I forgot about Avatar. Yeah,
Honestly,
The
though,
most
I think it was.
important and the most
Sorry.
important inclusion of all, Hatsune Miku.
Hatsune Miku.
Hatsune Miku. Yeah, saw that as well.
Ooh,
Oh
But I think it was probably, just from the business point, it was kind of the obvious thing to do, right? If you're going to try to
yeah,
compete with Mario Kart,
yeah. Go
that's
big or
like,
go home. Yeah,
yeah, no, you've got to do something because, Nintendo has their Smash Bros. And we've all seen how well that works out. And then everyone's been saying they should do it with Mario Kart 2 and they didn't, but,
yeah.
Sega
Yeah.
gave it a shot.
yeah, and
As the
it's
joke
also
is,
fair
Sega
to
does what Nintendo don't. Sorry, guys.
yeah, it's also fair to say that Crossworlds has a lot of Mario Kart 8's DNA in it. Like, yes, there's the boat sections and the plane sections and the jumping from one track to another, and all that stuff is great. But when it comes to like the drifting and the items and things like that, you can feel a lot of Mario Kart 8's influence in the game and in that respect. So that's maybe why it didn't do as well as I think some of us were
I
expecting, is because Mario Kart 8 was kind of fulfilling the need that Sonic Crossworlds was maybe trying to fill in vain, as it were.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of just serves as like as a replacement almost for Mario Kart on non Nintendo systems, and I'll never forget the time I was in a GameStop and I was just browsing and I overhear someone at the counter. They were talking to a employee there, and he's like, or actually, I think he was talking on the phone, and he's like, "No, Mario Kart is not on the PS4. You can do Sonic Racing or Crash Team." And I'm just like, "Oh man."
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
like I can so imagine it being like, "Oh, I want Mario Kart." It's like the Mario Kart at home. But
yeah.
still, I can't blame him for trying, and I probably shouldn't knock it till I've, played more of it, but, um, props to them, and I think they did I think it was the right move to try to go for some over stuff if they were gonna stand out.
Yep. Since Star Warp isn't here, Battlefield 6 is a pretty good game. I had never played a Battlefield before. I do enjoy it. I haven't touched it for the last couple months. I don't like the Battlefield Fortnite mode. I can't remember Battle Royale mode. Uh, but I'm not really a big fan of Battle Royale modes in the first place. But overall, Battlefield 6, a lot of fun. Do recommend playing with your friends. Wish it had a little bit more customization for your characters. But aside from that, I guess also I wish it didn't require DRM installed on your like down to the BIOS.
Kernel
It's
level, yeah.
yeah, kernel level. It's like that's another thing. It's like I don't like that. That's a little gross. Not gonna lie. I did it anyways because I wanted to play it, but it's still a little gross.
Yeah, not gonna be playing that on Linux anytime soon.
Yeah,
Um, alright, but I think we should probably get moving on here, so, I'm trying to remember, I was the one that announced this, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
You guys have been listening to us for the past 10 or so minutes talking about all these games. And I think there was one game that we were kind of overlooking almost. You probably forgot that we even mentioned it. But Peak,
it won.
best multiplayer game of 2025 according to our rankings. 46 points. It just narrowly beat out Kirby Air Riders
Yeah.
and Battlefield 6.
And I can understand it. I was kind of avoiding talking about Peak until we got to it, but it is very open to a lot of people. It's silly, it's funny, it's cheap, which is also a good addition to it. And it's still getting updates at the moment. I don't remember the last update it got, but it was at least getting somewhat consistent updates for a while where it was adding more things. So it's like, honestly, for what I think it was $10, it's a game that does happen to have a lot of fun to it, and it is an interesting premise and concept. So
It seemed like one of those hits that I feel like we see a few every year where it's just some like indie
yeah,
multiplayer game and someone just like it's that thing that, so many indie devs are just dreaming about is
yeah,
getting that one hit where you just find that one, sort of niche thing that like no one really thought about this before or tried it,
yeah,
and you're the first one to do it, and holy cow,
yeah,
it's awesome, and it
yeah.
really catches on, and it seems like that's kind of what peak was.
Yeah, on Peak was the Among Us of the year, the uh Lethal Company of the year, the Repo of the year. It's like yeah, as I said, we have a big one each year. Peak was definitely the big one of last year, and there's probably a few each year, but there's like one that really stands out each year, honestly. So it is an
Yeah.
interesting game. I enjoyed my time with it. I think I'm good with it now, though. At least unless
Yeah.
if a friend asks me, do I want to play? I'll say yes. But it
Yes.
is one of my friends, I think, was describing it as one of those meme games where you go ahead and play to get clout on the internet. That way, other people watch you. That's a good way to describe it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Um,
say this. My first experience with Peak was testing it out by myself.
Yeah,
And I remember thinking, I can see the appeal in this, but I'm not sure I quite get it. Then I played a multiplayer game of it. I was like,
yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah.
I can
It
see
really,
why
yeah,
people sink hours and hours and hours into this.
yeah. It really does come
That
together
was
in
fun.
multiplayer. Yeah, it
Hmm.
is still a fun game. Like,
Sauce.
yeah, while I'm saying it's the clout game of the year, that doesn't mean it's not fun. It is fun. It's well designed.
Yeah.
Yes, who's back? Back
I
Back
know.
again.
Hello,
Kitty.
Matt.
Matt
Kitty
is
cat's
Matt
back.
back.
with the
And
cat.
there's my cat.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
Matt.
Matt, we just finished up the best multiplayer section, but we're saving a
Great.
little special one for you here. Best story. That
Okay.
is on you now to go and
Yeah,
read through the nominees.
I figured you'd want us.
Absolutely.
I figured you'd want us to save that one for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's a I love story and I love talking about it. It's where the meat of most of our analysis comes from, right?
Yeah.
So, absolutely. So our nominees are Claire Obscura Expedition 33, Dispatch, Ghost of Yote, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Silk Song, and Umamusume Pretty Derby. And there's a lot of good stuff in here. I've been playing more Ghost of Yote, especially since they launched Legends, but like I've been getting more of that campaign done, and like it's very well done. It's very good. And Silk Song has incredible world building. But anyone that's been anyone that's read my articles this past year, or, has been talking to me personally, knows I'm definitely going to bat for Clear Obscure. So, uh, I don't know if this is when we meet in a duel K-Max, but I will
Uh, we
meet you on the
we we
fields of battle.
we can meet at a duel
You know?
when we get a little further. I'll say because it's like I
Okay.
definitely
Okay.
don't agree with Expedition 33 as much because it's like the story is kind of very similar to Tales of Symphonia, and that is a little bit of a mark against it because of the similarities between it. It's not like an immediate downgrade to it, but it is like, I see the similarities, and it's like you kind of copied the homework and just threw in Chat GPT a little bit, didn't you? Like, not actually, of course, but it kind of seems that way.
No, yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
I'm recalling what lore I remember from Tales of Symphonia.
I can
Uh,
go through it real quickly. But actually, that
I
probably
mean, I
take too
remember
long.
there's a mirror world with
Yep,
Tetheala
yep,
and the divine tree connecting the two, and there's
yep,
kind of like a cycle between the two where they're siphoning like magical energy off each other.
yep.
Um,
Then you have a journey where you have to
but
go ahead and have a specific team to go ahead and make sure that they fulfill it. That way they can restore the energy. So it's not quite a one for one, but it's kind of similar where you
yeah,
do go ahead. It is a very similar type of deal there. And then you
I
find
can see
then it,
that now that you've pointed
yeah,
it out that way
yeah.
a
And
bit.
then you
I still,
yeah,
yeah.
and as I say, then you do happen to go ahead and find out that specific characters' parents are kind of causing the problem. Same with Expedition 33. Then you go ahead and find out that the world isn't fully connected, much like with Expedition 33. And it's like, oh, we've
hmm
been living a lie all along. And by the way, we are hitting spoiler territory here, folks. Probably should have mentioned that in the first place. So it's like, you have that bits and pieces here and there. And it's like, that's why all that stuff kind of rises up. So it's just, and you can actually, for Tales of Symphonia, have a main character die, much like you do for Expedition 33. It's not a guarantee you can save them, but it is a possibility. So it's like, I do think that is
hmm
something to take into account here and go, oh, that is a thing that can happen. I kind of forgot about that sometimes because I usually don't have that happen to him. But there's
hmm
other small little nuances here and there. It's like, then I kind of, I don't like the ending, and I think that's where I don't like aspects of the ending would be a better way to put it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where PB and Justice and I are going to differ here. I think that it's all on a dour note, and I just say there's other pieces to it too. Whereas I think you were saying it was more hopeful. I think it basically just plays into supporting her for the she stays in the ending. I know that technically all the people melt in a sense, but it still feels like,
hmm
well, yeah, it's okay, but as long as she's happy, that's what matters here. It doesn't matter about the other people there. And that's kind of how I perceive it for that one. And it's like, thinks she's happy, but it definitely does look like she shouldn't be because of everything that is happening to everybody around her. Because you do find out that
hmm
they're all imaginary friends. They're Foster's home for imaginary friends, but
hmm
nobody's. Yeah, so there's that issue. And then for the main thing, it's like it just kind of feels like problematic in regards. I'd have to think of exactly what it was, but there's just nuances here and there where it's like once you start
Yeah.
taking a broader analysis at it, you go, huh, this
Yeah. I'm trying to
doesn't
figure out if I
quite.
should retort now, if I should
Yeah,
wait for a later nomination. Uh,
We're
I do
already this
disagree with
deep. You
your
might as
read
well
on the
go.
yeah,
endings.
go, go,
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
go.
that's fair. That's fair. Uh, I think it's pretty clear that Mael's ending is depicted as like the bad one because it's like, she's living this false illusory life and it
Yeah.
seems happy at first. And then they do that last shot where her face is like melting into ink. And it's like clear that like she's getting lost in the painting just like her
Yeah.
parents did. And she is losing herself and her identity to keep up this facade of happiness, and it's like when you see the other ending where, she's back in her, crippled, burned body, but she's in the
Hmm.
real world and she has to face the funeral of her brother. She has to like face these things. She can't deny
Hmm.
it anymore. It's sadder. And it's sadder that she has to say goodbye in some ways, but also, I mean, it's necessary. I mean, you see a
Yeah.
lot about Renoir and Verso saying, like, like, just like how much it hurts to have to do the right thing in this specific instance, but to like get you out of there, to have you face these things.
And that, yeah,
Um,
that part I don't
yeah.
disagree with
So,
because it is good that she comes out. It just, I don't know. It definitely feels like it was kind of sequel bait between the writers and the artist. Yeah, that's right.
mhm.
So that's why it's like,
Yeah,
I can't understand some things. It's just, it definitely feels like, yeah, we're sequel baiting.
yeah. I mean, I think you can lay seeds for a sequel
You
without it.
can,
Like,
you can.
yeah, I think that's
Uh,
fine.
More of my
Yeah,
problem probably is the fact that it got a movie deal before it even came out. And it's like, that's a little
that
sussy
is
there. Not,
that is a
not gonna
little
lie.
interesting for sure.
Yeah,
But probably a topic for another time. I
that's
do
fair.
want to ask Guys' opinion real quick on Dispatch because I heard a lot of things about Dispatch and I don't know as much about it.
Yeah,
And
I'd be
I've
curious too.
heard great things about the story.
Yeah, I really hoped that I could get a word in on this. First of all, I am not going to take full credit for Dispatch. Honey Badger convinced me to play this one. So shout outs to the Honey Badger. Go subscribe to her YouTube channel. She's doing great things, and she does great things for us too. So watch for her articles on the website. And yeah, Dispatch is a game that surprised me. It has a lot of the elements that I should be fed up with because it's very in line with what a lot of superhero stories have become, with like the incessant quipping and things like that, and to say nothing of the relentless raunchiness of the whole affair. Like seriously, if you're gonna
Yeah,
play it, please turn on all the censorship options. You'll thank yourself if you do that.
I have
But
heard that
at
is a
the
big problem.
yeah, but I still really enjoyed myself because at the core of the story, it's about redemption. Like the whole premise is you're a superhero who's teaching a team of ex supervillains to be superheroes. It's that sort
Mm.
of leading the wicked to the path of righteous, and like that really, that I should hope that speaks to most of us.
I do like that
Uh,
premise. That is very cool, honestly.
Yeah, that's a very good premise. I do like that. You've definitely
yeah,
sold me on that
that
just
that
with
is
that
the
one sentence.
Yeah,
that is the best way to get someone to play that game in spite of all of its other flaws. Is I
Mhm.
really love that sort of mentorship redemption aspect that it has going for it. Really
And it
makes it.
seems, sorry, it
Go
seems
ahead.
like such a simple um, premise that I can't say I've heard done a lot before. I mean, first thing that comes to mind is Marvel does have. I don't think I can say the word here because we'll be on on YouTube. But let's just say
I think you're thinking of
two
DC.
words. Oh,
I thought
DC. No, you're right. That shows
I thought you
how
might have
much I
been
know
thinking.
about my
The
superhero lore. But
What,
I
the
thought I.
unalive squad?
Oh
yes,
yeah,
the
I
Unalive
thought
Squad. We'll
I
say
thought you might
that.
have. I thought you might have been talking
Um,
about Telltale's the not The Walking Dead. Pardon me. That they also did that, but Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what I was
yeah, I guess
thinking.
Guardians of the Galaxy you can kind of, but I feel like they're more kind of just like, I don't know, edgy guys and versus like pull out villains. They're
Yeah,
more like average, not great space
yeah,
person in the Marvel universe, I feel like. But no,
that's
I think
fair.
it's one of those things that like
The only
it's weird that
problem
we
with
don't
the
do it more often.
I agree. I think it would be a good idea. The only problem with the Alt F4 squad is that they are typically they typically go back to villainy afterwards because they're basically being forced into it for this one job, and they like have a bomb in their head a lot of
Yeah.
the time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dispatch does do it better than that, and I do happen to appreciate that. So
Yeah, I like that idea of doing
in
it
that
with
regards,
nuance and actually doing it in a rehabilitative way, as opposed to like literal gun to your head.
yeah,
Please
Yeah.
save the
It's a
world from an
completely
Yeah.
evil superhero.
different thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, no,
uh,
that's good.
And don't get me wrong, Dispatch isn't the best thing since sliced bread, but
right,
I definitely think it has its merits. And
yeah,
if you're
Mhm,
mature enough to handle what the game is, I
mhm,
would say there's no harm in giving it a shot. And then also, I would like to do a little commentary.
mhm.
Uh, Uma Musume. Uh,
There we go.
I know,
Pretty
like,
derby.
I know a
No, that
lot of
was a
people
terrible impression.
think it's weird that it's here, but trust me when I say this, is there is way more thought put into Uma Musume than it looks on the outside, because all of the characters are not just fictional creations. They're based on real Japanese racehorses
yeah,
from
which
like
is cool.
Japan. And when you actually do the research, you realize they're not just slapping random anime tropes onto these characters. They're actually looking at the horse's race history and what their handlers thought about those horses and their dispositions to
That's
Hmm.
cool.
craft these characters. And once you go down that rabbit hole, you realize, like, darn, this is a love letter to a niche sport. And it's getting me interested in this thing I never thought of outside of
Hmm.
just being a dime a dozen gambling industry. And they they make it compelling. They
Yeah,
do. I got to
that is
give props
very
to
interesting.
the horse girl.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have once again sold me on another game. Please stop adding to my backlog.
Here, I'll
Yeah.
unsell you on it. The first hour is very long.
The first hour is longer than an hour. Got it.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's
I think guys would agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, it's fundamentally a visual novel and a
Yeah.
gotcha game before it
Hmm.
is anything else.
Yeah. But it
So
is interesting.
don't
Yeah.
yeah, and always remember, it doesn't matter how crazy Gold Ship is in the game. The real horse is crazier. Trust me.
I guess to
Oh
resell you on
man,
it, you can do it on mobile, so you can just put it down if it's been too much for you. So,
that's fair. That's fair. All right.
You
I
can
guess without
throw it
further
out the
ado,
window.
yeah. Without further ado, the winner for best story is Claire Obscure Expedition
yeah,
33.
not surprised by that.
So, yeah. I mean, you're gonna hear me gush about it plenty of times, but I do think it's an incredibly well done story about family, loss, grief, acceptance, denial. Uh, and it also has some really interesting theological implications that we kind of dive into on the site.
Yeah, I
But we can
I
get
will
more into the theological aspects later on in the night.
that's I will say it's fascinating how close it came to losing though for best story. Like I was
It
not
did.
expecting to
It
be
was
that
very
close.
close.
Yeah,
And
and we didn't
Yes.
even
second
talk.
place,
Yeah,
I was shocked second place got as high as it did. I guess
yeah.
we can reveal it. Second place was Donkey Kong Bonanza,
I
which I'll be full front about. Like I'll say, I mean, it's a great game.
I
I don't know if the
think
story is anything to write home about, but it was only 2 points away.
yeah, I
So
think the drop of the final boss is really what pushed it, honestly, because it's like
mm,
that boss
Careful
in
of the
particular.
spoilers, my dude.
That's what I'm just saying. That boss. I'm not saying which boss. That boss is like, oh, buddy, let's
and you know
go.
what?
Yeah.
And you know what? I did stop before the final boss. I'm on the elephant level, and then another game came out, and I
Yeah,
was like, I'll get back to Donkey Kong later.
I am glad
And
I
I
did
also
not
had
say
a
what boss it
3 month
is then.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am glad I did
So,
not say
you
which
know,
boss it is. But once you get to that boss, come back and talk to us. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah,
he
I'll say
finds out Cranky Kong was actually created this whole world, and he has to fight
honestly,
his grandfather slash father for redemption.
no, for
that's right.
bananas, not for redemption, for bananas.
Oh,
Like,
sorry,
No,
all
bananas.
right, all right.
I would say Claire Obscure and Donkey Kong are in two very different boats. A
Yeah,
lot of games that Nintendo makes tend to have some sort of lore behind it, but just the fact that
yeah,
that many of their series, they just pump out endless sequels and spin-offs and all this stuff. They never really wanna commit themselves too much to
yeah,
a concrete canon because then that
Hmm.
kind of limits what they can do in the future. So
yeah.
usually the route they take is having some sort of like sort of mysterious story and we can't piece together all the parts, but we get hints about what might be going on, but we never actually get that much, which
I
I
I
like
would
that it's there. I think it makes the game more interesting, but
yeah.
I usually don't feel fulfilled by it. Whereas,
I
RPGs, I mean, I've had this theory for a while. I will probably have an article on it someday, but I think RPGs are like most, they're
fulfilling.
the
Yeah,
fine wine of
yeah,
games, and I'm
Mm,
not surprised in the
yeah,
slightest that and RPG took it away because
yeah,
those are usually the ones that are most heavy on the story, have the most going on in that sense, and actually commit themselves to having
yeah.
some decent lore.
and you know
I
what's
will.
interesting, I feel like, too? You would think a visual novel, right? You would think a visual novel would have, like, the most it's basically just a story, so why don't they show it more in best story? And I think part of that is because, like, the interactivity of video games, visual novels, they I still think they can be considered video games, but there's more buy-in when there is just more to do to engross you in the game when your actions correlate to what's happening on screen. And I think that that engrossment is pretty important to story, which is why we don't see more visual novels, I feel like, in this category and stuff. But anyway, okay, Max, go ahead.
I think the only thing I was gonna say at the moment was the only really two Nintendo franchises I can think that you do get more of the story from it is Metroid, as I guess Splatoon in a sense too. But I was thinking,
Yeah,
Platoon's got actually
they've got
surprisingly
lore.
deep
yeah.
lore, yeah,
I was just realizing I
especially
was
like
forgetting
in 3.
Splatoon because yeah, I'd
Yeah.
probably say Metroid and Zelda. And Metroid kind of does it a little bit piece by piece. It really depends how much they want to delve, and sometimes that can be a bad thing. Metroid Other M,
Hmm.
cough cough, how it's done basically. And then the other one, Zelda, they get away with that one because they don't say how far away it is from each other. So it's like they kind of go ahead and leave bits and pieces here and there, and it kind of works that way. So, but yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. I
I
would say, I
guess
mean, they've got other stuff like the Paper Mario series, more of the old games like Thousand Year Door and
Yeah.
Super Paper Mario. They're
yeah,
not really fully linked to the main series games either,
yeah.
and usually the lore has to do with like a specific
But
sort
those are
of
RPGs as
thing
well.
that's made up in that game. Yeah.
Yeah,
But no,
for
like,
Super.
yeah, I
But
Okay.
understand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's most. Let's say we basically had our discussion about Claire Obscure's story. Silk Song, I probably would put higher, honestly, but they kind of
Yeah.
have a negative portrayal of the church in ways that are caricatures as opposed to actual good criticism, and
Hmm.
that's my bigger problem with it. It's like there is
We
things that
need.
can. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say we need Kairos on here because
Yeah,
he would do a bet if he actually first off got closer to or did beat the game. So like he
yeah.
would be able to do a better defense of it.
Where's the
Um,
review?
I'm fairly
where's
far.
the review,
I
Kairos?
I'm fairly far into. I have like 40 hours in it at the moment, so I have put a fair amount of time into it.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I got far in. No, I got to Act Two, right?
yeah,
And
I'm
then
I'm near the end of Act Two, so
I was getting close to my Game Pass subscription running out, and I was
fair.
getting tired of Xbox on a tangential note. So I just let my subscription ride out, and it's like I should
Valid,
buy it on the Switch, but then I've lost 40 hours of time, and I've
valid,
just lost my motivation to play it. So, oh well,
valid.
maybe some point.
Can you
Yeah,
transfer your save data over if you buy it, like, if you either buy it on Xbox or I know, the
If
I
I
stores of
think
Xbox and Windows are
Xbox.
kind of linked?
if I bought it on Xbox, I would be able to, keep the save.
Yeah.
But I would also like to have it mobile, and I think you
Yeah.
can kind of play it on your phone. I used to do that with some other
Oh,
games,
yeah.
but it's not the same. Like I would like to have it on the Switch. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
nicer.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah. All right. I guess we should move on. So next up is Indie Game of the Year. Was that correct?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. All right. So we've got. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna be pretty quiet this category because there is only one of these games I played. So, the
I can take
nominees.
point.
Oh yeah, please go take point.
The nominees for Best Indie Game of the Year are Berserk Bits, Megabonk, Bullet Surge, Peak, and Hollow Knight Silk Song. I will say I am probably the most familiar person with these indie games on this list, but I will also say that the team was definitely reaching for indie games this year because I guess most of us just didn't touch a lot of the ones that made a big splash for the most part. I
I
mean, we've talked at length about Peak, and
yeah.
Peak has its ups and downs, but generally, it's as long as you got friends,
It
it's a
yeah.
great time. Silk Song is very contentious, but there's no denying just how big of a
Yeah.
deal Silk Song was.
I mean, it's
Uh,
incredible game design. It's really like it can be frustrating for people. I think it's more punishing than almost all Souls games technically because I think a lot of people a overblow how difficult Souls games are, but also
That I agree
b
with.
don't understand how generous and or encouraging the game developers of Souls games like actually are underneath the surface. Like it's got this gritty exterior,
Yeah.
but the mechanics want you to keep trying.
Yeah.
And the world building wants you to keep trying because they don't want you to give up. And that's really encouraging, really.
Silk Song does not want you to do that.
Silk Song and Hollow Knight, not exactly the same. Like They
I
do
might
still
say
do like the
I might say
grave. What's it called when you run back from your death
Soul.
area to try and
You're
retrieve?
it's two different ones because in Hollow Knight you have to go beat your shade, whereas in Silk Song you have to go ahead and just get the cocoon, which is fairly easy to do.
It
So
is
it's
better. It's less.
yeah,
It's less obnoxious. I can't think of
yeah,
the right
because
word, but it's
it
not
only
as
takes
mean.
yeah, it
Yeah,
takes one
punish.
hit as opposed to multiple, and it actually also if you really want to play it wisely for Silk Song, like you die in a boss, you can save that for when
Hmm.
you absolutely need it. You can bonk it, and then you can heal off of it too. So there
Yeah,
is
yeah, which
ways
is
to do it,
smart.
and I do like Hollow Knight's gameplay more than Silk Song. I think that Silk Song
Hmm.
is a little too loose, and there's some things that aren't quite as refined as it should be. I've mainly seen that.
I I was gonna say I disagree, but I want you to finish that sentence.
That's I was mainly with the running and
Speak
stuff.
carefully,
So
my
it's like
friend.
if you if you run into the walls, you kind of get dazed for a second. Which yeah, sure, that's realistic. I don't care about realistic in a video game unless it's supposed to be realistic. That's fine. And then I've had some issues where it's like I should be able to climb ledges and it doesn't happen. There's some other
Hmm.
nuances here too and there that I can't quite remember at the moment, but that is probably my biggest thing. Like the dash,
Yeah,
they do encourage it. It's not quite as refined as it should be. Most of the other
I
stuff
found
I
it to
don't
be.
mind.
I don't know. I was gonna say I found the platforming to be pretty precise and pretty.
For the
I don't
most
know.
part,
It
it
felt
is, but
like
yeah,
precise, and the combat design was very calibrated to the player and their abilities. And I also liked that, like, there's like five different, not stances, but like
yeah,
crests, I think is what
I
they're
do like
called.
that.
It's been a few months since I played,
There's definitely
but
stuff I
like,
do
there's
like
lots
it.
of
Yeah,
different move sets, and
there's
to
definitely stuff I
be
like about yeah. And
yeah,
admittedly,
there's lots of good stuff.
maybe the crest I've been using it's specific to that one, so that might be the possibility. But I will also say I'm tired
Hmm.
of mob squads. If I never see a mob squad ever again, it'll be too soon. There's
Yeah,
too many
that
of them.
there's a lot of those, and they are tough.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I get that.
for the most part, I don't mind too much. There's one in Act Two in particular, which I don't know if you got to PB Injustice. That if I never see it
Mhm.
ever again, it'll be too soon.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
And
guys,
And I'm
you're
then
not.
good to go. If
I'm not even bad at video
beyond
games.
Silk
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, beyond Silk Song, I would like to put in a word for two other games on the list.
please go
First
right
up,
ahead.
Megabonk. This was gifted to me by a friend, and I played it on a stream actually. I had some controller troubles with it, but the novelty of Megabonk is that it's basically Vampire Survivors if it was on like the N64. So if you wanted to play Vampire Survivors with a Z axis, you might get something out of Megabonk.
You keep
Uh,
getting me with these quick
I
taglines.
I have heard it's very fun, and I have heard of it. I haven't played it, but
yeah, but if you want Vampire Survivors with jumping, the Megabonk's got you covered. And
Dang.
then with Bullet Surge, Bullet Surge is the digital version of a board game that me and my brother actually play. Uh, we have been playing for years, and my brother wrote a review of it. I believe it's called Bullet Heart, is what the board game version is called. So you can look that up on the website. It's one of our older reviews. So
Yep.
uh, a little CGR history there for you. And
Nice.
then, yeah, I haven't played Bullet Surge that much, mainly because I have the board game, so I can
Hmm.
just whip that out whenever I want to
Yeah.
play it.
and
Uh,
Berserk bits I like
but
because it's basically a Mega Man Battle Network, but instead of you controlling the Navi, it's actually a Navi, which is a neat concept. Honestly, it's an idle game, but I mean that just means you can have it running while you play something else. So
I know. I can't believe we've got Guts starring in another video game. I don't know. That's a stupid Berserk reference.
I mean, we were talking about Dark Souls earlier. It's not that far.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Uh, all right, guys. I'll let you handle the winner.
alrighty. The winner of Indie Game of the Year goes to Peak, which I don't think should be too surprising considering how we talked about it being the best
Yeah.
multiplayer.
I am.
And
I think a good
Uh,
multiplayer experience just elevates a game so much.
yeah,
Like you can enjoy a single player game, but when you enjoy a game together with someone else, it's just like it could be terrible in many respects, but it just that shared experience just elevates it so much, right?
yeah. I am
indeed.
surprised Peak beat Silk Song though. That's probably my one of the two big things on this list that I'm noticing.
Mhm.
And I'm also
It was
surprised that. Go
close.
ahead, sorry. It was close.
Yeah.
I'm
I
also
also
Yeah, I was
surprised.
just
expecting Silk
Oh,
Song to sweep that one, but
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I very much appreciate that, with the game industry, even in the year 2026 when we have companies that are absolutely massive and the industry has grown so much and
yeah.
larger than other entertainment industries, that it's still possible for someone to someone or a couple of people to just make a game on a low budget,
Mhm.
sell it for cheap, and just have it explode and
Mhm.
be
Yeah, that's
be way more popular than a bunch of other, games are being churned out by massive corps, right? I
yeah.
mean,
Like
I feel like
we've
it's something you don't see in many other entertainment industries as much. It just seems
as well.
so
Yeah.
constant
The
in
only other
games, and I love it.
the only other one that probably happens in somewhat frequently is music. I don't think it really happens with movies that much. It's sometimes,
I
but
Yeah,
literally can think of one example with movies, and I literally would not have been able to say it earlier. What was that Markiplier movie? The
oh yeah, I forgot
Iron
about that.
Lung, was it?
Something like that.
yeah,
Yeah. It's like that came out of
Iron
nowhere, and
Lung.
that was I mean, it's
Yeah,
not like, obviously as a massive YouTuber, he still has a lot
yeah.
of resources.
Right.
Not as much as giant production companies
Yeah.
though. And so
Yeah.
that's definitely a good example. So,
That's it.
but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's just it.
very rare for movies. It's way
Yeah.
like it's way more common in games, and that's a great
Yeah, because
point.
I can think of two for games for 2026 already. I'm not playing either of them, but Mugenics has taken off a lot with
Yeah.
people, and then better Mugenics Horsey game, ironically, because the eugenics system in Horsey game is better than Mugenics, which is kind of hilarious considering he's been working on this for 10 years. So it's like, okay, hi, just two eugenics games out of nowhere. How you doing? But
Oh
it's
my
like,
it's just a whole genre now.
I mean, yeah, because it's like they basically came
Yeah.
out within a week, 2 weeks of one another, and it's just like it's interesting that those like I will not play either because it's like I just they're not for me. But it's like it's fascinating because I haven't watched Mugenics yet, but I have watched a streamer do Horsey game, and Horsey game is fascinating, but it's also terrifying because it's like
Mm,
everything that happens with it. But it's like, anyways, that's that we're getting into off topic here. But it's just like those are two games that
no.
just for this year, it's like I can like yeah like and it's only March, midway through March.
Yeah.
I'm probably even forgetting one honestly, or two. So
Yeah. All right. With that, we're getting into our last two categories.
yeah,
And the one that most people are familiar with. So we've got next up the game of the year, and right after that is our unique award is the most Catholic. So stick around for that. But right up, here are the nominees for game of the year. We have Avowed, Claire Obscure, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Mario Kart World, Silk Song, Sonic Racing, and Kirby Air Riders.
that's
So
for
we've talked
the
about a few of these already, so we'll talk about some of the ones that we haven't seen
yeah.
yet on the list.
Let's say
Um,
Kirby and the Forgotten Lands for the DLC, correct?
yes,
yes, the
the
Okay,
DLC.
Nintendo
okay,
Switch 2 edition. It's Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Star-Crossed World.
yeah. I just wanted to double
Yes,
check.
sorry. Thank
No,
you.
you're
I
fine.
had abridged it on my little crib sheet that I'm reading
That's fair.
from. But yes, we're not technically Forgotten Land was like what a 24 game, but this is the DLC
Uh,
slash Switch 2 version.
Oh, I
recently
think it
ish.
was
23.
2022.
I'll look it up.
Really? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Um,
This is what we call the funky mode clause.
Yeah.
the funky,
Yes, it
yes,
is.
That's
It adds
true.
enough yeah. It added enough substantive changes to warrant being able to be nominated.
It's
So we
22.
were
Yeah,
like,
it was
okay,
2022.
wow, all right,
Yep.
there we go. Um, I was gonna say so for Avowed. That was I think did that win our most anticipated last year? I believe it did.
I think I definitely remember it from last year. So I think it
Yeah,
might have. Yeah.
Was
yeah.
it about
Either way, it was
2025?
nominated last year.
I thought it was
Um,
2024. Man, I don't remember when this game came out.
Well,
yeah,
this is
Avowed
the
came out
awards
last
for
year.
2025.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could
Oh,
have
you're
sworn
saying
it.
did it come out in 24? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it
Um,
it,
must
it
have
came
come
out
out.
last year.
Oh yeah, it did come out very early. It was February. That's why I'm thinking it was
Mm-hmm.
2024 because it was like I just forgot about it because like I
Excuse me,
heard
sorry.
about I heard about it when it came out and I haven't heard from it ever since.
Yeah, no, I think it was uh it got a bad rap, I feel like,
Yeah.
among other gaming sites, but I really enjoyed it for a lot of reasons. I think it really thought about the ramifications of its own world building and
Hmm.
theology. I think it had incredible world building for that matter, which I know had been first built up in the Pillars games, but
Yeah.
we know friend of the website, Josh Sawyer. Uh, he was the one that did the world building for the Pillars games and all that, and so Avowed is just in that universe. And it's really I don't know, it's just well thought out, well done. The combat was pretty fun. I think a lot of people. I think the advertising was trying to kind of sell it like a Skyrim, and it's a different it's not like a Skyrim in that one sense. Like combat wise, I guess a little bit, and it's better than just if you ever replay Skyrim, it's like I am hitting the swing weapon button.
Yeah.
Like it's not very fun. The
Engaging.
jankiness of Skyrim
Yeah.
is really what's the fun part, but that's a
No one
It's
tangent.
not. Yeah.
out-Tods the Howard.
Exactly.
It's not very
But anyway,
engaging. Might be a better way to put it for Skyrim.
yeah, for sure. But anyway, I really enjoyed Avowed. I thought the writing was incredible.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't
And
played it, so
yeah, yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting nuances with it. I think when
fair.
we get to the most Catholic category and I talk about it, I'll just mention it now, and that way we don't have to talk about it later. I
Sure.
liked that for my review. Most reviews we're talking about spirituality. Sometimes we're talking about the theology of what the church actually believes. For Avowed, we were able to go into some speculative theology, which is one that we don't often talk about on the website because it's like going into the ramifications of their building and figuring out, okay, what does it mean for a new god to be born? Like what does it mean to be teaching them morality as their envoy? It's like those are weird questions and not ones that need to be explored in our world. But there are some interesting ramifications that can come about, or some interesting lessons we can learn from speculative theology when we're doing stuff like that. So I thought that was very curious.
Yeah.
And next up is also Indiana Jones, which is another one I played. So sorry for that.
yeah.
Um,
Well, no, I think I just wanted to give a couple quick words on this. Obviously I didn't play it myself, but I didn't notice it seemed to be just because of the Catholic theming that was there. It seemed to be a well appreciated review. And if I remember, I believe the BBC reached out to us about a radio interview that I don't think
it
actually
didn't
ended up
materialize.
coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, it didn't materialize, but that was a very weird day as
it was.
checked the site inbox and it's, oh, from the BBC. I mean, it was verified and everything. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So I think it was just uh it was something that I think really came to a lot of people's attention and is one of those games that even people who are kind of in this secular world are like, oh, I wonder what the Catholics think about that one.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I haven't played it. As I say, aside from your review, the only other Catholic I've heard talk about it was Taylor Schroll, and he was
Hmm.
not very favorable towards it in terms of Catholicism. Admittedly, it's been a while.
It's an interesting one.
It has been a while since I heard the podcast he was talking about, though. Probably was February of last, because it came out about February of last year, didn't it? I'll look it up. Hold
It
on.
was it was even earlier. It was possibly January, or I might. You know what? It came out December of 24, but it was after
No, that makes sense. Yeah,
the those other
After
awards,
the
so it was
cutoff.
able to be nominated for 2025.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just couldn't remember when it came out because it's like it came out at some time. It's like I know he was talking about something. I'd have to go back and look to when that came out because like I remember there was something like some. I think the way they consecrated the wine was wrong for one of the things.
Yes. Yeah,
And there
there's a weird
was
consecration thing, which
yeah.
he doesn't even need. He didn't even need
Yeah, and
actual
I think that's what Taylor Schwab pointed out
consecrated.
too. It's like you never needed to do that in the first place for this puzzle. It's like why did you do it? So it's yeah.
Yeah,
Um
it was not a well-messaged moment, and it could have literally just been he was blessing it, but it was a weird moment. It didn't
yeah,
need to happen like that.
I heard there's a couple different. As I said, I'm just going off of what I remember
Yeah.
from like a year ago.
No,
So
you're
it's like
good.
I do not remember all the nuances here.
Yeah, but we should be focusing more on the game of the
Sorry.
yearness of it. I had mentioned just the Catholicity of Avowed just because I wanted to get that one out of the way,
Right.
but
No, that's fair. I
we'll get back
apologize.
to the most Catholic in a second. No, you're fine. I wasn't sure if I was confusing people. Um, in terms of game of the year, in terms of Indiana Jones, I mean it's a fun game. You to borrow IGN reviews, it really makes you feel like Indiana Jones.
Oh, see,
Um,
Mm.
I was just gonna say instead of doing that, you get to punch Nazis. What isn't there to like?
exactly. You know, you get
Always a
to
good time.
punch Nazis. It's always a good time. And then, yeah, Mario Kart World. I mean, we all played it. We had a lot of fun with it. I should be playing it more, honestly.
I should too because
It was a lot of fun game.
I've heard they've changed the maps instead of them being quite so uh forward. They curve now more is what I'm trying to say allegedly. So
Oh, interesting.
and they have more
Yeah, I know
options.
Yeah.
they
So
changed the way selection happens in online so that you
yeah,
don't have to drive from one to the other. Yeah.
And
Yeah. No, it
slight
was
correction. I have not played Mario Kart World. I've been on the Sonic Racing Cross Worlds poverty train.
Please tell us more about Sonic Racing because that one I don't believe has come up in
$80.
past
No.
awards.
I
Yeah.
mean it's no,
Well, yeah,
Sonic Racing is $70, so it's not poverty compared to Mario Kart World.
Hey,
yeah,
that's like
well,
15% cheaper or something.
Yeah, fair.
well, I'm just saying I don't have
Switch to fair.
$550 to burn right now, so
That's
Yeah, no,
totally
that's
fair.
fair.
might as well spend
Yeah.
70 on my PC.
I hear that entirely.
Uh,
As long as you
Well,
don't
yeah,
need more
I believe we
dedicated
talked
wham.
at length. I believe we talked at length about Sonic Racing Crossworlds during the best multiplayer because there were
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
kart races
I
over
think I was
there.
rocking a baby at the time.
I believe so.
Which,
Yeah,
and I don't know if I'd mentioned on air, but yes, I had to take a quick break.
Yes.
yeah.
You're good. But yeah, okay, so
But
that one's
for
been talked about. All right, cool.
mhm. but
I guess
the quick catch up is, uh, you know, it borrows a lot from Mario Kart 8 for sure. And I don't always think that folk going all in on like crossing over with a bunch of third parties was necessarily the best move.
Hmm.
But on top of all that stuff, it's still doing enough fun and interesting things and building off of some ideas that came from previous Sonic racing games like All Stars Transformed, uh, that I couldn't help myself nominating it as Game of the Year. I was
Hmm.
just having so much fun with it at that time.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
Of course,
this
to
is
be
too
fair,
tangential.
yeah,
Hmm.
Go ahead.
yeah, but to
Oh,
be
I was.
fair, I was not playing a ton of new games last
Mhm,
year just because I was a busy man. So,
I
and I'm
believe it.
still a busy man. So who knows how many nominations I'll actually contribute to next year?
Fair.
We'll see.
We'll see.
All
yeah.
right.
Speaking of being busy, I think Forgotten Land was probably one of my nominations, which I myself did not play a ton of new games last year either. So I think that was one of the reasons why that one showed up. Um, and hey, I'll say if it's your first time playing the game, you'll enjoy it. Um, I don't think it's exactly game of the year material. Spoilers, it didn't win, but Still a fun time nonetheless, and yeah,
Can
solid game.
you can you imagine the upset if it had one though?
There would be
Oh,
riots.
There would be
they would
Oh
riots.
my
accuse us of
gosh.
being
Riots,
a
I tell
rage
you.
bait channel.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the Funky Kong clause. That's a perfect way of
Funky
putting
Kong.
it.
Yes.
And Knuckles.
All right. Yeah. Uh, featuring Dante from Devil May
From Devil
Cry.
May Cry.
All right, with that, the winner of the game of the year for CGR is Claire Obscure. It was close
It was
again,
close. Like
uh, but
there's
it yeah it inched out. This was actually a pretty contentious category.
yeah,
Like
like
each place isn't
there's
far from the previous place.
no the top four are within 6 points of each other.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Right behind Claire Obscure is Silk Song, which I'm sure all Silk Song fans will, including, I can understand being tilted about it
Yeah.
because imagine waiting so long for Silk Song and it doesn't win all the awards that you wanted it to. But oh well, such it is what it is. I do think I think Clair Obscur is incredible mechanically, but it's also exactly my jam. It's literally like I've always loved Paper Mario mechanics in battles where there's
Yeah.
parrying and there's timing and stuff like that. And I have always loved like Chrono Trigger like mechanics as well. They don't have like the dual text and things like that, but there's a lot of things that they do borrow. I just love a good and I also love, like, from, Smash Brothers, I play Marth and Ike. I always loved parrying, and so when you get, like, that perfect parry timing
Hmm.
and the whole expedition attacks the boss back, it's just like, "Ooh, the endorphins rush, I could run through a brick wall right now." Oh my gosh. Um Yeah, so anyway, I think mechanically it's an incredible game. I think the story is good, the music's good. I think all around it's fantastic. You've probably if you're watching this, you've probably heard a lot about Clair Obscur already, so I probably don't need to wax on it, but it's very good.
If it's getting too long, we'll fix it in post.
That's right.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
And let's move on to our final category. As we previously mentioned, our final category is most Catholic. And this is always an interesting one to figure out because like how do you determine
Hmm.
the Catholicity of a game, right? Sometimes games make it easier if it's
Yeah.
like, oh, there's actually the Catholic Church depicted in this. That's not that often though.
No.
Um so with this one we've got 2 games? Yeah, only 2 games that have the real Catholic Church in it, and that's including Civ
Okay.
7,
Yeah, I was gonna say
um,
yeah.
Spoiler
Civ
and
alert.
Indiana Jones,
7.
yeah. Yeah. I'm
Uh,
so annoyed at you right now.
So-
I'm a fifth grade teacher. I deal with 6, 7 on a daily
no,
basis.
I didn't say 6 7.
Get
I
it out
said
of your
Civ
system so we
7.
can move
Civ
on. So,
7. Civ
Hey
7.
Max, you're like the oldest one here too.
Oh, trust me, I'm cringing
I'm
on the
saying.
inside.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Just
you
honestly,
fit in well with my 10-year-olds.
real quick rant. 6 7 is like a mind worm or brain worm, and it gets stuck in your head. As much as you know, as awful as it is. I heard.
Oh, yeah, for
The
sure.
yeah, it is spread far beyond what I expected, and
Yeah.
it's I do have a 6-7 theory for why, or a 6-7 clause for why it spreads so much,
Yeah.
but let's just say um I believe it has been dropped by an archbishop. 6-7.
Oh my gosh.
Uh so like it's yeah. Speaking to
Yeah.
Could
young
be.
people, I will say, but man, it's just like I did not think it would go that far.
Yeah. I did not either.
How many virtues are there? Oh, I don't know, 6, 7. Oh my gosh, anyway.
Yeah.
The nominees for most Catholic are Avowed, Civ 7 or Civilization 7. I actually don't know the full unshortened version. Is there any
Sid
subtitles?
Meier's
There is
Sid.
Civilization.
Oh,
yeah.
we
So
can't
there's a
forget
little
Sid.
more. I can't forget Sid
Although
Meier's.
of course, he hasn't been
Sid.
involved in the games since like Civ 4. So,
But
It
it's
has been a
still
I
while.
didn't even
his.
know he
It's
was a
still his
real person.
baby.
No, he's a
Yeah,
real person. Yeah.
indeed.
yeah.
Why
And then
there's
we've got
Sid Meier's
Claire
Pirates team.
Obscure.
Yeah.
We've got Claire Obscure, and then we've got Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And final nominee is Silk Song. Let's see if Silk Song gets it this time, everyone.
Yeah, we've talked about
Um,
most of these games at length for sure. I think the
Yeah.
only one that's the outlier is Civilization 7.
Yeah.
mhm,
I was the only person willing to go to bat for most Catholic on it because I wasn't willing to go to bat for it for anything else because I just think it's inferior to previous Civilization games in a lot of ways. It still
mhm,
No.
has some
Yeah.
merits. Like if you really enjoy Civilization, you'll probably enjoy its eccentricities. But generally speaking, I would say wait until they fix the game before you even consider dropping
Yeah.
money on it. I
mhm.
only got it because I got a free code for it with a computer part. So
Which it's always nice when that
that was
happens.
interesting. But in terms of its Catholicness, I guess you could say, uh, it is a game where it's like a toy box of history. So there's a lot of leaders and civilizations and units that have their roots in Catholicism. So you can play as Queen Isabella of Spain. You can play as the great Charlemagne. You can play as Napoleon Bonaparte, who, fun fact, reconverted to Catholicism before he died, despite the fact that he held the Pope prisoner for 5 years. So it's never too late, guys.
Imagine
Never too
talking
late.
to St. Peter about that one. Oh
As long
man.
as as long as he went to confession, it was sincere. He's good.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, he said in his will, and I quote, I die in the Catholic religion of which I was born into. So,
You love
There we
to see
go.
it.
or I might be mixing two quotes together there, but either way, he was definitely sincere about coming back by the end.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good.
Uh,
That is so good.
yeah, and uh, but in spite of all that, I would also be remiss to say that just because Civilization 7 does have Catholic stuff in it doesn't mean it's always done perfectly. Like the cathedral, which should be a universal building that anyone should be able to build in their empire for cultural or religious bonuses, is relegated to a unique building for Mexico specifically in the modern
That's weird.
age.
That's
So
weird.
that's
Yeah.
very weird.
No,
It's
on
kind of
that
like
note,
how the
go ahead. Sorry, guys.
yes, yeah, but it's not the only religious building where it's oddly just tied to a single civilization. Like the mosque is uh, exclusive to the Abbasids in the Exploration Age, even though there are
Interesting.
several Muslim countries
Right.
represented in the playable civilizations. So
That is
hey,
strange.
so they make a lot of weird decisions with religion in Civilization 7, and also the in-game encyclopedia where you're supposed to learn about the real history behind all these different game pieces. Uh, they do give more credit to Catholicism where credit is due than I was expecting, but on the whole, it is a encyclopedia that was clearly written by someone with a heavy bias for Marxism. So I
Mm.
would take a lot of what it has to say with a big grain of salt. Because
Mm,
Marxism is not the best lens to view history through. Trust
Ain't
me,
that the
I went
truth?
to
yeah.
college and got my degree in history. I know these things.
No, I gotcha. Yeah. I'm gonna speak to the Catholic aspect of anything that I didn't already. I talked about Avowed last thing. I'll explain Indiana Jones real quick. With Indiana Jones, so that was set. The first area you go to is the Vatican, and it's beautifully rendered. It's really cool to like be a visual tourist there and explore like Vatican secrets in the secret museum and all this other stuff. Um, it's beautiful. It's really cool to go around in. And there's priests there. You get to disguise yourself as a priest and stuff like that. So but it's still a lot of fun. It's got the aesthetics down, which is enjoyable for sure. There are when you get more into the story of things, it gets into some interesting ideas. I don't know if it ever becomes like Gnostic. I can't recall, but I do know it's investigating. Actually, yeah, the name of the DLC kind of is the not means this isn't a spoiler. So it's talking about like the giants, the Nephilim, you know,
Mhm.
and it goes into some theories about them. Like Indiana Jones is basically kind of like looking into the Nephilim, as well as like there's this ancient language that all languages spread from in this world called Adamic, which is like what Adam spoke or
Mhm.
something like that. And so those are kind of the two mysteries that Indiana is exploring in this. So like there is a lot of the Abrahamic faith base in there, but it never really to me, it never feels like there's that much deep introspection about it. Like, when you watch the movies, it's like, okay, Indiana Jones, he gets the Ark of the Covenant, but he
Mhm.
closes his eyes and looks away when it's opened. Or
Yeah.
when it's the Last Crusade, like there's all these informed things that Indiana does, like where he's actually reverential and
Yeah.
understanding of the power of divinity. And it never really feels
That way
like
in the game.
it doesn't feel like that much in the game, I feel like.
Would you
But anyway, so
would you say, out of curiosity, a somewhat similar comparison might be the Assassin's Creed games, where they do go ahead and get the architecture and everything down
mhm.
pretty well, but they're very loosey goosey in terms of theology and such. Not yeah.
It's a step above the Assassin's Creed's
Okay.
games,
Okay.
but it's
Yeah.
not like
Well, the
it's
problem with
not
Assassin's
great. It's just
Creed is
better.
that
Okay.
the problem with Assassin's Creed is that they're not even really entertaining like the
Yeah.
realm of the spiritual at all. They're trying to hand wave like all spiritual phenomenon
Aliens.
with a
Yeah.
Mhm.
illusory artifact created by
Yeah.
aliens.
Which
Yeah, it's
ironically,
Right.
like
I mean, ironically, Indiana Jones has a movie about that too, but we don't talk about that one.
yeah, no, I gotcha.
I
There are three
feel like
movies.
I
There are
feel like
three
it's a very
movies.
interesting point how you bring up like, both those games are good with, or I guess in terms of uh, Assassin's Creed, it'd be a series. Both those games really have the visuals down, and they see that beauty, right? Which is, I mean, like you've probably heard the quote or something like it. How if you ask anyone in a city, like, take me to the most beautiful building, they're going to take you to a Catholic church, right? I mean, even the secular world really still has an appreciation for
Mhm.
Catholic churches, even if lots of the stuff we build these days is ugly. You still see a lot of people walking through. Like, go to New York City and see how many people want to go to St. Patrick's
That's true.
Cathedral just because of how beautiful it it is, right? So um, people have more of an idea of that, but then really just what you were saying about Indiana Jones, like failing to be reverent like he was in the old movies. I feel like you see that very often because the same people will walk into those beautiful buildings and just be,
Mhm.
loud or obnoxious, or you just see generally the way people approach a lot of things these days, even if they know that these religious, like, even if they know how important religion is to a lot of other people, they're still often very quick to just put it all away and treat it like just another thing out there and no differently than how they would
Mhm.
approach any other topic or person. And I mean, you'll see that with the way people talk about Jesus and how he's often portrayed in the media, right? As he'll be portrayed as just another guy or something that you can make fun of like any other
Yeah.
historical figure. And I feel like you're kind of just seeing our culture ref, being reflected in these games, right? And how the faith ends up being created in
Yeah.
them and portrayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I gotcha, and that's a really good point. I'm just gonna real quick. Um, I don't think we've talked much about the Catholicity of Claire Obscure, but I do think I think it's kind of like it's got the virtues there. It's got some of this thematic storytelling that can be related to it, but it's not as much like, oh, like, Jesus is in this and there's a cross here. Um no, it's much more about, like, again, the idea of, mercy, the ideas of denial and acceptance. So the thing is, like, a lot of the game really is about accepting suffering and accepting your cross. And what it comes down to is, like, okay, like, you need to be able to accept what's happening and you need to be able to move on, suffer, and learn how to suffer well. That's what patience means. It's like passion. It's like the passion. And your ability to withstand that suffering is really just that. Um, I don't know. So that's my quick spiel about it. We could probably do a deeper dive. I'm forgetting, honestly, I had written a whole article, a whole second article after I had done my review, and I'm forgetting a lot about it. I'm pretty sure it was about Tolkien, and that's what it was. I brought in Tolkien, talked about subcreation, talked about a whole bunch of the stuff. Go read it on the website. Uh, you know, I'll make my case there, YouTubers. But yeah,
I,
so that's my quick spiel about any of the Catholicity and Clear Obscure.
I'd probably say honestly, last year was somewhat hard for any of these games. I don't know how much really had it, but that is why we do try to look for the good in all of them. Because just because it's not easy doesn't mean it can't be there, and I do
Hmm.
think that is a good thing to think about as well. So
No, that's a
Yeah.
great point to remember. Like, we're not saying necessarily that these games are endorsed by the Catholic Church, that these games are in full communion or have the full truth of Catholicism. What we're mostly just pointing out is these guys have got some things right, and we like the things that they've got right. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. Last
Yeah.
thing I think we have to cover here, and it's probably going to be a controversial one, is Silk Song, right? Because I know there's some, I think it's portrayal of the
there's
rosary, right?
there's that.
Yeah, the
There's
rosary
also
rosary beads are currency.
there's a confessional booth that is definitely meant in mockery. There's a couple other things here and there where it's just like it definitely feels like they were trying to go for mockery, but
Hmm.
which I go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I'm curious if it's. I think I got to that confessional booth,
Yeah.
and I'm curious to see where it goes story wise because I'm figuring out whether it is mockery of Catholicism or whether it's actually mockery of an organized religion that becomes authoritarian. And obviously, some people could ascribe that to
Hmm.
Catholicism. I don't think that's the case, considering we I don't know. We haven't really clamped down with power on anything in a few hundred
If
years, and I don't think we ever really have that much. But anyway.
yeah, I just if it wasn't made by a bunch of Australians, I'd agree with you. But I know how they
Hmm.
view Catholicism. That's why it definitely makes me a little wary there. So it's like I could, and maybe I'm wrong. And do want to also add if you want to go ahead and critique things within the Catholic Church that do need fixed, that actually is welcome because we do want to get it fixed too. It's just
For sure.
mockery though is not something that's very useful,
Yeah,
honestly.
and that's for sure.
I think
I
what a
I need to
think,
lot
play the
of
game. Yeah.
Yep.
I think what a lot of like seculars and just Protestants and non-Catholics generally don't understand is that yes, the Pope is our ultimate leader, so that gives us a much more centralized looking structure than a lot of other religions out there.
Hmm.
But ultimately, the Pope is not micromanaging your parish.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if there are problems happening in your parish or in your diocese, like that's probably more on your priest or your bishop than it is on the Pope. Where
Yeah.
Catholics are much more decentralized than some people give them credit for.
Yeah, no, the Pope is
Yeah.
not micromanaging, and no, Jack Chick, the Vatican does not have a supercomputer. Please go ahead and try again.
I think also people just have like I mean, I think this is a thing that, spans our culture, but I mean, I see this with lots of other Christians too, right? Whether they're Catholic or not, it's just being really bad at sorting out the bad from the good and usually going all in on one way of, oh, this person or this thing is amazing and awesome, or oh, this person, this thing, and everything they do is ter- terrible and awful, right?
Mhm.
Because if you genuine like criticism most of the time is going to include, okay, some of the stuff is good, some of the stuff is
Mhm.
bad, and that's boring and it doesn't get clicks, but that's usually the case.
That's
But I
usually
feel
the
like that just
truth,
makes
yeah.
it so much harder to criticize things because it'd be awesome if we could have games that could actually talk about issues that the church has,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But I know if that gets put in a game, it's just going to be seen as one way or the other.
Hey, hey,
And
we might have one
uh,
this year if
We've
it comes
lost
out.
Yeah, we've lost nuance in so much of
Yeah,
our world today.
yeah.
We've lost the ability to discuss it and like recognize it, and it's really a shame because yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said for. I mean, there's a lot even in these games that we could disagree with stuff. Like there could be
Yeah,
nuance to the Silksong thing, but I've only played
there could
so
be.
much of it. There could
mhm,
And
be, and that's the thing. And I'm not saying you're reading it wrong at all, K-Max. I just don't know.
right. And I would also
But
say
e
we
but
can have.
it's tough, like you said,
Yeah,
Katoons, Alden. It doesn't get clicks, it doesn't get anything, like,
yeah,
we could be like, "Silksong hates the Catholic Church for this video," and it's like, maybe it'd get us, like, 10% more clicks, but
yeah.
it's
yeah,
it's
But
not
more like
really authentic.
it's not
Yeah.
more authentic. I
yeah,
would also say it's not being authentic to Catholics, and it's like that's a big part. I was gonna say even if we do disagree with it, I or even the people that made it, we can still have a friendly conversation with them. And I think that is
Yes.
something to remember too, because it's like yelling at one another and taking what somebody says and misconstruing it. That's not going to help. It's better to go ahead and ask for clarity and try to have a conversation as opposed to jumping down each other's throats. And that's
Yeah. No,
something that
yeah.
absolutely.
a lot of people do not want to do at the moment, unfortunately. It's a
It is
shame.
unfortunate. Yeah. Alright, I think it's time to announce the winner. Alden, I think it's your turn, so would you like to, say who the winner or winners are?
Yeah,
Tip the
so
hand.
I think you, yeah, gave a little bit of a hint there, but this year we actually have two winners for our most Catholic award, which I would say this is probably the biggest deal of our show because this is what is unique to our game awards, along with all the other ways that we're looking at things, of course. But we have most Catholic games of 2025, Claire Obscure and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yay.
Yeah, and
Yay! I
if
can't
any
clap
sort of
on.
tie were to happen, this is actually a great way because it demonstrates Catholic game reviews is how does one say perspective in both senses, where Indiana Jones represents that, like the Catholic Church is in this. So we need to talk about that. We need
Yeah.
to talk about how it's betrayed, both visually and theologically. And then you have Claire Obscure, which the Catholic Church isn't in there, but we can draw elements from the story and talk about Catholic virtues that are speaking through the story.
Yep.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and in reality, I find that's actually what most often happens with these games is that's where we're often taking a lot of things. And I remember a nasty reply we got on Twitter once where someone had been introduced to our account and they said, "Oh, I can't believe this. Somehow these people managed to make every single game that comes out about God in some way."
Yeah, I
And
saw.
I'm
Yeah,
like, "Well, of course we can because God made everything. So the creator of the universe is going to be tied to everything in it in some way. And
Yeah.
it's actually a lot easier than you would think, in my opinion, to look at all these different games from a lens of faith, even if it's not dir- directly and clearly referenced in there, because they're all going to be talking about the world in some way, and the world was
Mhm.
made by God, right? And any elements of truth in those games, right? It's going to be reflected of God. So I think it's something to look to really pay attention to, and also to help us kind of bring God into our gaming experiences more, is not just approaching a game like, oh, well, this game doesn't mention the Catholic Church or religion at all, so it means that, I can't get any spiritual value out of this.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, I already went to bat. I already explained all the different things, but yeah, I mean, it's really interesting writing for the site and really digging deep into, because like I have to interrogate, like, okay, how does this connect to Catholicism? How does this connect to my spiritual life? And it's it becomes more natural as you do it and you start to see, oh, okay, like there really is a spiritual connection here, you know. And so that's why it's I don't know, it's just a lot of fun to be able to write for the site and do that. And it really unlocks a lot, you know, because you get to see more, um just through the lens of faith, and it's a lot of fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just say this is fun, but it's great. I love being able to do this.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'll,
So
I'll
yeah,
I'll say, as one of our site's big workhorse writers, if there's a
yeah.
slow week, you know, uh, you can count on me to fill the gap, as it were. But yeah, once you've gotten accustomed to viewing games through a Catholic lens and trying to figure out how God can speak to you through these games, like, it's really hard to turn off. There's not a new game that I don't play that I'm not already thinking about making a
Hmm.
review for and talking about what God is doing in the game, and that it even translates outside of video games. I'm often very critical of, like, the moral messaging in movies now, like more so than I ever have been previously. So honestly, I'd probably make a decent critic of, like, films and books as well with this specifically Catholic lens, or at least maybe I could be.
I believe
But
it. Yeah,
but yeah, and hopefully, I hope that's what our readers are getting too. That, yes, maybe they're not writing reviews, but hopefully they're getting into this mindset when they sit down with games as well. And that would probably be the biggest win of all.
absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all our awards this time around. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and
Yeah.
leave a comment down in the down there in the doobly doo, as I think the Vlog brothers used to say. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and tell us what your favorite games were and what you thought the most Catholic game of 2025 was. With that, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Kmax. Thank you, Gaius. Thank you, Alden slash Katoons. I really appreciate you guys being here. I
Thank you,
grabbed you
Matt.
guys this morning and it's like,
Yes.
hey,
Thank you.
thanks. Can you guys come up for a Friday night? Oh, and thank you. No, I mean, you're welcome. And both. Practicing gratitude is hard.
It is. It
That's
is.
right.
But it
Yeah,
is
but
worthwhile.
it sure is. And with that, God bless you guys. We'll see you later.
God bless and ciao.
See ya. Peace.